What is up, guys? Today we are inside of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, and today we're going to be seeing which of the good faction units are the best and ranking them. Now, this is going to be equal money value-wise battles, so we're going to start off with the Devout Gauntlet versus 75 farmers. So we have 30 Devout Gauntlets, 75 farmers, 6,000 versus 6,000, so that is fair in my opinion. So we're gonna see how well they do. Now, I don't think they're going to actually win this just because they cost 2.5 times as much as the farmer. So the farmers have them greatly outnumbered. As we can see, this group did not survive well at all. This group is taking way too long on the farmers over here and are going to die. Yeah. So as expected, the farmers won that battle, which is why I think that this unit should be buffed. It should either attack faster, cost less, or do more damage. Even if it did more damage, it wouldn't really help them in this scenario. But because of that loss, what we're going to do is we're going to take, we'll do 4,000 of them, or 4,000 money, I mean. And we're going to face that off against a Da Vinci tank, just to see if they struggle with groups, but are really against high health units. However, I don't think they will be. The Da Vinci tank also has the ability to kind of push units around, as we saw there. And as expected, they really didn't do anything to the tank. So yeah, they just have way too little health and don't do enough damage. So I don't think that the Devout Gauntlet will be winning this, just because of how much he costs for such little damage. Next, we're going to have the Celestial Aegis. Now, unfortunately, this is not going to do well against melee units, so we're actually going to have to face it off against some ranged units, which is the Archer, because that's what they specialize against. However, since their shield can deflect it multiple times, I'm gonna have it be 6,000 versus 12,000-ish. So we're gonna have that. So we have a bunch of archers versus the Aegises. I almost said the Aegises. That's not the right word. But it appears that they're not doing all that well. The archers kind of just mowed them down. Technically, it wasn't fair though. So what we're going to do is we're going to redo that battle, and this time we're going to have some fair value. So we're just going to line them up right there, and then over there, and then like that. And unfortunately, we can't get exactly, so it's going to have to be 6,020. So they're going to fire their volleys, and as we can see, since it's even money, a lot less of the shields bursts. Only one of them died. I'm still surprised that any of them died, to be honest, though. But it doesn't seem that it really matters, because it appears that they're still just going to be outnumbered. Like, it's a fireball. I expect it to do more damage. It's a solar fireball. See, it's a solar fireball right there. It should do more damage than just like a knockback effect. So I get that this is supposed to just be a shield, but it's still really not all that good in my opinion. So I would only use it to protect units. I don't think that the Celestial Aegis is winning this again, but what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 Celestial Aegises versus, with the help of 2 Devout Gauntlets to see if our theory that it just protects stuff is correct. And then we're going to have $1,400 worth of archers. So we have them right there. And as we can see, both of the arrows, or both of the shields, went down. One of the Devout Gauntlets died. Both Celestial Aegises died, it appears. And then we only have 1 Devout Gauntlet left. And I don't think he's going to be able to mow through all of them quickly enough. So, yeah. I don't think that the Celestial Aegis is really worth it as of currently, unless they change it recently, because that was $1,400 that only beat $700. So yeah, Celestial Aegis isn't looking too good for you either. Next, we have one that I'm actually confident in, which is the Radiant Glaive. Now these are like Zeus in a way, where their projectile bounces around, which is pretty cool. and it's rather useful against groups. So we're going to have 4,500 worth of them, and then we're going to have, let's just say, a row of squires, just that way we can see the knockback effect, or not the knockback effect, the chain effect, and then we'll have 2 kings behind them. So that way we can see them versus groups and versus high health amounts. So as you can see, the glaives bounce around. They aren't really showing it all that well here, but they do bounce around. It appears that they don't do well against high health units, which is to be expected. So these are really good units, just don't use them against high health enemies. However, the next one that we're going to use might be a little bit better at that. But we gotta just test it out against one big group of squires first, and then we can move on. So we have 4,500 worth of squires versus 4,500 worth of raging glaives. And as you can see, the squires, at first they don't really notice it, which is something else that I kind of don't like about the good faction. Their attacks just never one-shot anything, which is rather annoying. But there's only one over there, and then we have this big group, which are all going to get comboed. So as you can see, they actually beat all of the squires. We also have to form them against other ranged units, otherwise it's not really going to be all that fair, because we need to do both ranged and melee. Otherwise, we're not going to get a good result. Now I'm actually going to have the archers spread out, so that way we can see how big of a difference it is when they are actually spread out. So we have them like that, and then as you can see, they all just got destroyed immediately. So also don't use these against archers, because even though they have a shield, it's not gonna protect them at all. I was gonna say maybe this will make it take longer, but they didn't even get to shoot their magical glaives. So yeah, I would say this is one of the better units. Just don't use it against ranged units or high health units. Anyways, we have the Righteous Paladin. I was actually wrong. The one that I was talking about that's good against high health units is actually the one after this one. But we have the Righteous Paladin right over here. It costs 800, which is already not looking too good for it. And I don't think that this one's going to win either. And you'll see why once we start the battle. So we're going to have 8,000 worth of them. And then we'll put them up against some dragons. How about that? They're not too difficult to kill. So what they do is they charge forward. They also kind of jump into the air, as you're about to see, and then it creates a magical hammer, as you can see right over there. Now the unfortunate part is the hammer doesn't seem to do anything. It doesn't really do damage. It does like 5 damage, but it mainly just pushes back units, which is the exact opposite of what you want as a melee, because then you're just giving the enemy more time to run away. So it's kind of like the skeleton warrior, except it doesn't make it so that way their attack stops. So it's kind of useless in my opinion. As you can see, the dragons are going to get killed because they don't have teamwork. But we're going to face them off against a different enemy soon. That dragon just went flying, okay. But you'll see what I mean once we face them off against a different unit. So we already know how that's going to end. We're just going to end that right there. So we're just going to have some berserkers jumping in. And we'll see how they do against that. Maybe they'll impress me, but I don't think they will. So the berserkers are going to jump, and then the hammers are going to come, and then none of the berserkers will die. As you can see, not a single berserker died. Some of them are stuck in the ground, like this one, but none of them have died. The others only died to the actual hammer itself, which sometimes it just really doesn't get the job done. So I would say it's not really all that worth it, even though they did just win. But it's because the berserkers also weren't all that great. So since they did win, I'll rate them a little bit higher, but still not gonna win in my opinion. Next we have the Divine Arbiter, and this is really good against one-shotting units. And I'll show you what I mean. We're going to have, let's just do 2 kings versus 3 Divine Arbiters. It's kind of like the ballista. So it shoots orbs, and then those orbs attach, and then those orbs call down lightning. And as you can see, the kings just got vaporized. So yeah, This one's going to be high up in my opinion. However, the only thing is, even though it does look like this could be good against groups because of the area effect, it really isn't because of how short the area of effect is. So that's going to take massive points off, in my opinion. So, I don't know, it might win. I kind of want it to win because I like this unit. But as you can see, not so well against groups. If they also get close, it's like lure in the fact that you can easily kill yourself if they're close. So yeah, maybe it'll win, but I'm not exactly sure because of that. Next we have the Sacred Elephant, and this is the second to last unit that we're going to check out. We're going to have him against a ranged unit, and that ranged unit is going to be Zeus. So we're going to see that. The riders have spears, and these spears do damage, as you'd expect. However, they also bring units closer to each other. So they actually killed Zeus, which is actually surprising. But I'm going to show you guys what I mean by they bring units together closer. So we're just going to have a clump of them right there. I know that it's not a fair fight. It's not going to try to be a fair fight. But once they throw the spears, as we can see, the sun orb is actually bringing them closer together in that pile. So that's basically what the sun orb thing is. It also does extra damage. And then we have the horses themselves, or why did I say the horses? The elephants themselves. But the elephants don't really do all that much. So it appears that they took a lot longer on a group than on one just high health unit. So that might take points off of them. But we're going to check them out against a fair amount of squires. And it appears that the elephants are actually holding up quite well against the squires. So yeah, this is also going to score pretty high, it appears. We're just going to try them against some archers really quick. And then we will probably be done. So yeah, archer squad roll out. There we go. I know it's not an even fight, but I have hope in the elephants. Maybe they'll be able to do this. So, as we can see, only one of them died, which is pretty good. However, one of the riders died, and the rider is really the powerful part of the elephant, which is why they got killed. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's not fair. You didn't use enough. It wasn't fair. The money is off. Well, -6 arrows isn't really going to help out the elephants. So I'm just going to say that they lost this. So yeah, onto the final unit of the faction. We have the Chronomancer, and 1 second please. The Chronomancer is one of the only transforming units in the game. There's only one other unit. It's the Void Monarch, which we'll cover in a different video. Which will be about the same thing, just with the evil faction. So as you can see, they freeze units in time. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't do much damage to higher range. After enough damage, though, they transform into their true forms, I guess you could call them, and then that gives them an area of effect attack. However, they also keep their normal, just single unit attack, which is also pretty cool. Now, I know that this looks super cool, but I'm actually going to rate it very low. While the transformation is cool, and it does seem good at first, if we take just arrows, like the Hwacha, that are equal amounts, as you can see, one of the Chronomancers is already dead because of how low health it has. So, one got halfway through the transformation, which by the way you can tell by on the clock. So, I don't really think it's that great. In my opinion, though, from worst to best, we have, or the best worst, we have Divine Arbiter at first, Sacred Elephant at second, Radiant Glaive at third, the Chronomancer at fourth, the Righteous Paladin at fifth, we have the Devout Gauntlet at sixth, and Celestial Aegis at 7th. The Celestial Aegis just doesn't do all that much. Anyways, that is going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, or you want to see some more totally accurate Battle Simulator, and everybody, peace out.